This is the Red Podcast.
Red Podcast, the marketing podcast for experts. You've got a message to spread. I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to do that right here. Whether you've got a podcast, you've got live events, you've got a book, you do email marketing. I talk about the tried and true tactics of getting people connected to you and what you are selling. I'm David Hooper. I've been doing this for a while. I started off in the music industry, building audiences for musicians, moved into other aspects of the entertainment industry, film, TV, books. Now I'm doing it for entrepreneurs. And on the last episode, I talked to Amy B. She's a real estate agent. She's been doing live events, and I wanted to do a quick follow-up on that episode. We were talking about live in-person events. And right now, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, there's a big opportunity for you in live in-person events. Obviously, doing these things at this moment, not a good idea, at least in my opinion. I think there are risks to safety, both your safety and the people that you're trying to connect with. And I think that's stupid because you need those customers to be alive if you want to do business with them. They're also a risk financially. For the most part, people are very cautious about attending live events right now. But because people are cautious and because doing in-person events right now, there's a big risk to them, whether you're an attendee or an organizer, you've got a great opportunity to prepare for the future. Clubs, hotels, ships, and other venues, they are desperate to get bookings. And that means they will be willing to work with you when it comes to the terms and pricing of doing a live event. If you're willing to take a risk and book something now, you will be able to get a very good deal. And here's what I mean by good. You could probably get a lot of these places free or pretty close to free. Let me give you an example. You could probably get a hotel to give you free space, not just discounted space, for a minimal amount of sleeping rooms or food services. You heard that on the last episode. When Amy did her event, she was kind of doing a trade out. She didn't have to pay for the event space if she spent so much on the food that she used at the event. That's usually how these things work. If you buy enough sleeping rooms, if you buy enough food and beverage, they'll give you the event space free because you are bringing so many people into the hotel. And because these hotels are sitting there empty right now, and they don't know about the future, how long they're going to be empty, you can get a pretty good deal on them. You could definitely do this on a cruise line. They're more than happy to give you space for free normally. And with that industry probably being one of the last industries to come back, what a great opportunity for you to go ahead and get a deal where you can get a discount cruise. You can get some extra perks in addition to the space. A lot of these cruise lines, they kind of double dip. Some of them own their own islands, and they certainly own the attractions on those islands. You could do an event on a cruise, which is not only a cruise, including the food, including the sleeping rooms, but also includes excursions on these islands that you're going to. And that is a great way for you to really connect with the people that you're working with. It's also great for them because they can connect with each other. And it's different than being in a meeting room. It's different than doing something on Facebook. You're thinking about things other than work. You can really learn about people and get to know them personally in a setting other than work. They leave, they've got these friendships in addition to the business relationships. You've helped make those happen. They give you credit for it. They continue to do business with you. Of course, as I mentioned, it may be a while before we get back to normal. I don't know. Maybe we're going to get this thing figured out in a couple months. I doubt it. I do know, though, that it's not going to be like this forever. Eventually, we're going to get comfortable with getting together in the same room with others. And I think people will be really ready to do that when we do get live events going again. But this is why it's a better opportunity for you to get in now if you're comfortable without risk. Once we get comfortable with getting together again, what's going to happen to hotel prices? What's going to happen to those cruise ship prices? They're going to go up because people are really ready. They're going to be going everywhere because they haven't been able to do it for so long. And that means that the money that it takes for you to do your live event, that goes up as well. On the plus side of that, if you book now, it also means, because people are really ready to get out, the money that you can charge for your live event can be substantial. And if you book now, buy low, sell high. You get in at the right time, you have the event at the right time. It's just two different times. You got to get in now, you got to have the event when it is safe to do so. So if you've been thinking about doing live events for your business and you're good with a little risk, maybe a lot of risk, I suggest that you look at opportunities over, let's say, the next 18 months, definitely within the next 2 years, that you can book now and that fit with your current business. Let me give you an example. If you're working on a book now and you've got a book release coming up in the next year, why not do a free one-day event that's attached to that book release? It could be either a bonus to those who buy the book, or it could be something where you pack everybody in the room and you use it to promote that book. This wouldn't have to be a one-time thing. You could do this in multiple cities. If you run a mastermind, you could set up something similar for members. I'm not talking about big events, South by Southwest style, none of this kind of stuff, multi-days, multi-hotels, hundreds or even thousands of people coming. I'm talking about small events that are relatively low risk for you that you can use to connect your community together. And this is one of the advantages of signing these contracts now, because hotels, cruise ships, venues are so desperate to have something on the books, something that they can show the boss, the investors, the corporate office, whoever's keeping these things afloat. They're going to be more willing to work with you to get something on the books now, even if it's got a clause that says you can pull out any time, you can pull out 30 days ahead, 60 days ahead, 90 days ahead because of act of God. Normally you can't do that. Once your signature's on the paper, that's it. There's no turning back. But again, these days, they're desperate. So they're going to work with you in ways that they would not have done 6 months ago. And I think booking those one-day events, those things are flexible enough where you can put any number of things within that one day. They're going to work for you. So if you're doing the book release, maybe the book gets delayed. All right, well, let's change it to a mastermind. Mastermind's not working out for you. Maybe you're doing B2B work. You set up a series of workshops and you go into those cities to talk to potential clients that you sell your services. The sky is really the limit when it comes to these one-day events. Now, of course, you could do larger events, hundreds, even thousands of people. I don't recommend that. And I speak from experience. I used to own a huge music conference, the second largest music conference in the country. And trust me on this, big events are hard even under the best conditions. But these smaller events, like the one that Amy talked about in the previous episode, comparatively, those have little risk and they can be highly beneficial for your business. It can be a great way to have you stand out from everybody else that for the last several months has been doing everything online. The opportunity, though, that is now. Once it gets safe for us to do in-person events, we're going to see a ton of them, just like we're seeing a lot of online webinar style type events now. And when that happens, you are going to get lost. You want to be the first guy in on this thing, be right there when live events come back. Just something to get you thinking. Fundamentals, just like live events, just like us getting together with people, they always come back around. It's just like fashion. Speaking of fundamentals, I am always looking for different takes on these subjects, spreading a message, filling seats, making the money work. If you've got somebody you think would be a good guest for me, this is the link to go to. I want to get you in my podcast guest database, redpodcast.com/guest. That's redpodcast.com/guest. And if you want to hear more of this stuff, subscribe. Red Podcast is available wherever you get your podcast. But let me give you the easy way to do it. One click is all it takes. bigpodcast.com/subscribe. That's big, B-I-G, podcast.com/subscribe. You'll see 3 buttons there. One for iPhone, one for Android, one for an RSS feed. One click is all it takes. You will never miss an episode. And if you are interested in spreading your message via podcasting, let's talk. I can help you do that. That is where I'm focusing my efforts on now. I've got a free podcast growth toolkit for you. You will see it there at bigpodcast.com. So make sure you pick that up while you're there. Thank you so much for listening to Red Podcast. Got some great episodes coming up, and I will see you on the next one.